for nothing. What's up? Content up. She give me that neck up.
Shout out to my guy BJ Media who took care of me with a bunch of these like video clips and stuff like that. I gotta have him refresh some of this stuff so I can get some of the newer games in there because I know he was out there for some of the Mountain Point games, some of the I want to say the Liberty games, things like that. So I got to make sure that I freshen those things up. Your boy Chili hanging out with you. I also want to show some love to my guys over there at ALL.net, Papa Iniosa, Mama Iniosa, always taking care of taking care of your boy with the flight club stuff and making that thing cook. And especially my guy, Recruit ID, trying to create a cool platform for the kids to make recruiting a little bit easier, the transactions of it, if you will. So just make sure that you guys rock with some of them and, they'll show you some love, I promise. Other than that, your boy Chili back for another Tuesday two-piece. And I do got my guy Gridiron Arizona. He's going to jump on in a little bit, and we're going to go inside the numbers on some things. I do got a special guest lined up because team kind of rolling. They're kind of feeling vibey. So I have to bring my guy on. I love this kid. The kid has a motor that doesn't stop. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. There are some orders of business that I got to discuss because I know everybody, first thing on their mind is like, yo, Chili, out the gates. How are you not going to talk about this thing? Look, we got a big game in town. Max Prep's game of the week this week. We got a bunch of games that could be game of the week, though, to be honest with you. Max Prep's game of the week going down. My guy Pop are going to be out here. It's going to be like a who's who. Listen, folks, make sure that y'all ready because there are going to be a ton of colleges in town for this game, but they will be on the recruiting trail, probably hitting some campuses to check out some kids, see them up close and things like that. Max Prep's game of the week taking place this week. Healthy little flyer thing that was on Max Prep's Twitter. Hamilton Basha going down on Basha Boulevard, Val Vista. Y'all know the deal. Nice of them to host this thing. Bo Jandro in the graphic, Mason Lewis in the graphic. And there's like 10 of these graphics going around. This game's going to be absolutely cinema. And I can't wait. And I know that there's going to be a bunch of people around the city that are going to be wondering like what's going on in the game, hitting up the local media folks on the sidelines. Because I know when the blowouts start happening, some of y'all players really do be hitting the media up because y'all be hitting me up like, hey, Chili, what's going on in this game, that game, or the other game. So it's all good. Like we know. I can't wait. Gonna pull up to this thing and watch this movie go down. And I'm gonna prepare him. I do got a guest coming on. I'm gonna ask him what his thoughts are of this game and who he thinks is gonna win. So I'm gonna throw him that alley-oop right now so I don't catch him so off guard. But look, big game. We all got to talk about it. It's part of the culture. It's a culture thing. So I want to make sure that I show some love. Also, speaking of showing love locally, I got to take care of my guy over here. And I said that I would do this until we figure out who the actual winner is. The one and only, my guy, Kogan Bourget, up for the Werfel Trophy. He's on the watch list, the current watch list. I think there's like 100 players on it because every team gets to submit a guy. So shout out to my guy, Kogan Bourget, the ASU representative. I know that U of A has one that's an Arizona guy, and that would be Genesis Smith from Hamilton. And look, guys, all you players out there, this is a give back thing. This is a give back thing that if you get the chance to really achieve something like this, is something that is so different. This isn't just on-field performance. This is the off-the-field stuff. This is how you give back your time. Do you go to the classrooms and read to the children? You know who does a great job of this? My guys over there at Mountain Ridge. Coach Hickam really has his guys giving back out in the community. Do you read to the classrooms? Do you are you big brother to some of the kids at the elementary school? Do you help coach? Koban Bourget over here helps to coach in the off season. He coaches the sevens program, his own Tucson Turf, and he's coaching all levels, not just the high school levels, but he's coaching the little guys, the munchkins, the ankle biters, and then he's also making sure that he's running some camps, giving back in that aspect. A phenomenal student in the classroom. He's definitely got to be a lifeline of yours. So I want to show my guy Koban Bourget some love, and as he tries to win this this Werfel Award. And he probably should. So shout out to my guy Devin Horn over here, a football guy, if you will. I punished him for a long time, calling him a basketball guy only. The man, the myth, the legend. I'm chilling with my guy Chris. Chris Peckin is the god, the camera god. I watched Chris grow up. I think it's Peckin. It might be Pekin. And that would be kind of cool since he does so much camera work. So, but I'm pretty sure it's Peckin. But I've watched that kid literally grow up, and he's the dude over there at ASU. If you are a recruit on the sidelines, be on the lookout for the swollest camera dude out there with the mullet, and he's got the cabbage going. So make sure that you show him some love. Tell him Chili sent you. Maybe he'll put you in a clip. You never know. Yeah, so I'm probably going to get Bash at Hamilton week started early, and Roy Oliver Day started early. I've dubbed 10-24-25 Roy Oliver Day because he's doing some historical things, and I think it's very possible that any one of these days, 10-24-25, 10-31-25, they could be Roy Oliver Day because he could set a record. You never know because he's put up these astronomical numbers that are absolutely insane. So 10-24-25 Roy Oliver Day. So bash the DBs, make sure you get your Gatorade, make sure you stay hydrated, no cramping up, no excuses, no BS, no nonsense. So make sure that y'all ready to play because I know Roy Oliver comes to work. Lunch pail, briefcase, whatever, suited and booted and ready to get recruited. He's got about like 30 offers or whatever. Uncoverable, undeniable, unstoppable, all of that. So just be ready to go to work. Other than that, yes, I will be at the freshman game. I want to watch my guy Dylan Cooper go to work. Castle, they got some dudes over there on that freshman level. Zemla over there at Hamilton, DeGraffenreid, Reed, Prime. You know who I'm talking about. So I want to make sure I show those guys some love. Make sure y'all put it on the show. Your boy Chili will be out there with my guy Adam Beetle, unless he fakes on me. But without further ado, I do got to bring on a special guest because I'm so excited. Hey, I was wondering if I was ever going to be able to put one of these guys on, and I will be. So without further ado, I got the superstar linebacker straight from Mountain Point, in case y'all not familiar, handling that business, a tackling machine. Running backs, run the other way. My guy, Jalen Coulter, Jay Bird. Find out why they call him that. Hang out for 10 seconds.
Yo, man, there's a lot of brothers out there flaking their purpose, scared to kick reality. Yo.
What's going on, Chili?
How you get the nickname Jay Bird?
I got the nickname J Bird from my grandma, really, cause
Okay.
she like her and my dad was to name me. So, and the meaning of Jalen is a beautiful J Bird. So my grandma, she gave me J Bird, and I just stuck with it.
Okay. I like that. I got Chili from my grandma. So we on the same wavelength. We on the same vibe things, right? So I thought, listen, this is what I actually thought. I thought you got that because of the way you play, the way you fly around that field, the way you be smacking them offensive linemen, them running backs and quarterbacks. I thought that's how you got the nickname Bird. So it's all good. Hey, talk to me, man. Early on in the season, Mountain Point kind of rolling. Defense was hot. I saw you guys, Maricopa, Desert Vista, putting the smack down early, 3-0 start.
Yes, sir.
Coach Pinkert had y'all right. Talk to me about those first 3 games and setting the tone.
The first 3 games, we know we had to come out and set the tone from dropping from 6A to 5A. We know we had to come out and set the tone to show people like this is not where we need to be. We need to be back up and 6A because we kind of took it like disrespect for them to drop us down to 5A. So, we had to come out and set the tone and show why we need to be back up in 6A.
I love that. All right. And then you guys hit a little we'll say a little speed bump, if you will. You guys ran into some teams, the Desert Mountains, the Desert Edges, ACP. I think caught you guys by surprise a little bit. What happened in those 3 games?
It takes a while. We're a young team if no one knows. So we're a very young team. So as now, like, since the team is, we're young, we're starting to find our groove and, come together as a unit because half of us we never played with each other. So now, we took a big bump, those 3 games, and now we're finding our groove now that we won the last 2 games. So it was just a bump in the road, and we got over it.
Okay, but now, like you said, these last 2 games, like you guys kind of been rolling. Like, what changed? What changed? Like you guys found yourself in a position dealing with some adversity. What
Yes,
changed
sir.
for y'all? It seems like the offense fully clicking now, and what
Yes,
happened?
sir. Yes, sir. We found out what we want to do and what we're gonna do, and we're gonna stick to it. And it just clicked. It started off all in practice and in the weight room. It started off all there. We're gonna start off in the weight room. We're gonna be better in the weight room. We're gonna be better how we practice. So that's where it all started off at, and it clicked, and now it's showing. Hey, yeah, these guys are the real deal.
Hey, Mountain Point, we always know that you guys got athletes and stuff, and I think that you got one of the most deceptively talented, if you will, defensive linemen in the state. I think my man Cheese,
Yes,
Tyreek
sir.
Washington, I think he's an absolute. He could be an absolute monster. Amazing footwork, good hands, a hooper a little bit. All football players try to believe that they're hoopers. Talk to me a little bit about Tyreek and like what he means to the defense.
Tyreek, he also he means a lot to the defense. Him, Taylor Caldwell, and Marley Feely, they all mean
Yeah.
a lot to the without them 3 and 4 defensive linemen on the field, it's a lot. They double team Cheese, they double team Marley, and then they leave it 1-on-1 for Taylor and I. So he plays a very big part in the game because he takes on the double team, the triple teams, and when he's 1-on-1, I can say 95% of the time he's gonna win. So he plays a big part on the defense.
Hey, the truth is, Jalen, is like you kind of out of those names that we've all talked about and include yourself, you kind of been like the highest recruited out of them, gotten the most attention, things like that for the things that you've done. What have you tried to do to make sure that you pass some of that off to Caldwell, to Cheese, to Feli? Is it
Oh,
Feli?
most definitely.
Is it Feli?
Feely.
Feli. Okay.
Feely, yeah. No, most definitely. Anytime that I talk to any colleges or any school, I make sure I put them in the same room that I'm in, and I definitely advocate for them like it's me. Any coach that I talk to, I mention their names. Any coach that I spoke with at school, I make sure I bring them in, and I send in their film too. That we also got great players here at Mount Point, so um, I just really go hard for them like it's myself.
Hey, unique situation here. Early, still early in your football career. You're still in high school, man. You've dealt with 3 different coaching staffs because you were obviously over at another place your freshman year, and
Yes,
then
sir.
you went to Mountain Point. You transferred to Mountain Point. You had Coach Lauer last year, and then now with Coach Roberts. What are some things that you've learned from dealing with a whole bunch of different voices and a whole bunch of different coaching staffs?
I learned that through just a lot of different coaching. Is at the end of the day, it's all football. You're still gonna have to go out there and give your best effort, no matter what coach it is, because you never know. He might find a better job there, or but it's all football at the end of the day. So you can't really call it with that one.
No, for sure. Hey, and I'm curious, Coach Pinkert. I know that he's had a big impact for some of y'all, and I'm wondering, what are some of the things that like he talks to you about, tells you about, that makes you like kind of evaluate the game differently, look at situations differently on the field.
Coach Pinker, man. I say the way he talks to us in practice and let us know how um how this may work and later on in life. I say that's like one of the most things that he does. Does best. I mean, does best because he's like he um he translates everything into what it'll be in the real world. So
Okay. Hey, what can we expect from Mountain Point down the line, man? I mean, you guys got a couple games left. I know you guys are trying to push for higher seeding and stuff like that, but you got some tough games left, especially this ALA Gilbert North to finish the season. And you know,
Yes, sir.
what can we expect with these last few games?
You guys can expect us to come out and do what we did the last 2 weeks and the weeks before. You know, we're gonna come out and play some football. You know, so I mean, get
Yeah,
ready for the show. I mean, yeah, I don't really got too much to say.
man. Listen. We saw how round one went with Desert Edge. A lot
Right.
of us, some of us, you know, we really feel like Mountain Point. They're loaded with athletes that got a lot of opportunity over here. Um, can we see this game again? Like, and what's going to happen the next
Most
time that we
definitely.
see this game? Like, because it's
Most
most likely going to be in Sun Devil Stadium. And you know, what do you think? How do you envision this going for round two? I know you're going to say you're going to win, but like, how that battle? Like, talk to me about the battle. Who you're
no.
going head to
It
head with? Who's going to
no no
test
no no
you?
no.
Who's going to get the
Chili,
culture?
Chili. We're gonna go to war when we play them in the Sun Devil Stadium. I promise you that. It's gonna be war. Is I say for sure it won't be like the first round when we play them. We're gonna go to
Okay,
war. It's
okay,
gonna be war. I won't say anything, you know, I won't predict no scores or it's gonna be this, it's gonna be that. I'm gonna say when we're down in Sun Devil Stadium, you know, it's gonna be war.
I love it. Hey, listen, one game that you can predict though, one game you can show some attention to. I know you got guys on both sides over there. Hamilton, Basha. You know, I'm curious. What are your thoughts over here? Who's going to win this game? What can we expect to see? What can the high school football fans expect to see? The ones coming from out of state and all that.
I know they for sure can't expect to see my boy Jacob Brown. He might give it to him over there. I'm rolling with Hamilton. You know what I'm saying? My dog. That's my dog over
Okay,
there, man. That's my dog.
okay,
That's my dogs. They're my dogs over there. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it to. I'm gonna give it to Hamilton, man. I'm gonna give
all
it to
right.
Hamilton.
All right, hey Jalen, man,
Yes, sir.
I gotta bring you back, man. If you guys really make this thing come to fruition, you get another opportunity versus Desert Edge. I gotta bring you back, and we gotta chop it up a little bit and find out, you know, what's really gonna go down. Mountain Point, you guys are fully healthy though, right? Like you guys, everybody's all good,
Yes,
and you
sir.
guys are locked and
Yes,
loaded
sir.
to prime
Locked and
playoff
loaded.
positioning. Time to win
Yes,
out.
sir.
Time to win out and buckle up for those
Everybody's
playoffs.
healthy. Yeah, it's time to
Okay.
put our hammer on the shoulder pads. It's time to go.
Hey, running backs, beware, my man Jalen. He coming looking for all y'all.
Yes, sir.
All of y'all can get it. Quarterbacks too,
Everybody,
right? Hey,
everybody.
hey,
Nobody's
Jalen,
safe.
man. Hey, Jalen, man. Just you know, go get some sacks. Go introduce yourself to some quarterbacks the rest of the way, and tell them that Chili said, "Hey, I got to introduce myself. My name is Jalen Coulter. You can call me Jay Bird." All right.
All right, Chili.
All right, buddy. You take care, man. I'm gonna catch you. I'm gonna catch you in a
You
couple of
too.
weeks. I'm gonna catch you in a
Okay.
couple of weeks when you guys buckle up for ASU. All right.
Yes, sir. I got you.
All
See
right, my
you
man.
there.
Take care.
Yo, man, there's a lot of brothers out there flaking and purpose, scared to kick reality. Yo.
I still believe that we can get Mountain Point and Desert Edge in the championship. I still believe that.
You could, I mean, certainly if they're on opposite ends of the bracket, yeah.
Yeah.
Love me the Jaybird. That was entertaining. I liked having him on there. Got to throw the couple stats out there first. Jaybird 89 tackles for the Pride this season.
Tackling machine.
9 sacks, and that is in 8 games. And then just one other note. Mountain Point, just for those that don't know, Mountain Point was not sent down to 5A, you know, for sucking, like some teams when they drop down. Mountain Point's enrollment, I looked this up, 1471. Your typical 6A school is 2100 or more. By comparison, Desert Vista is 2835. So it's almost double the size. And when they did their realignment formula this past year, which I don't think a lot of people knew that they were going to do it this way, but they combined how you did with your enrollment. and Mountain Point wasn't bad the last 2 years. There were playoff teams each of their last 2 years in the 6A, going 6-5 both years. But with that enrollment number pushed them down to the 5A, they chose not to fight it and stayed in the 5A. That's where they'll be this year and next year. The Pride, though, looking for their first playoff win since 2022. That was a 42-41 win over Mountain Ridge. And looking at this week's rankings that just came out today, Mountain Point is number 10. The top 8 get buys in the 5A. It's at a 24-team field. Assuming they win this week, they should make up at least one spot because Canyon View and Millennium are 8 and 9, and they play each other this week. So you'd figure Mountain Point will pass, one of those. And then their game this week is at Skyline. Skyline's number 33. And then you mentioned that final game against ALA Gilbert North. It's a home game for Mountain Point, presumably senior night. And ALA Gilbert North is number 3 in the PowerPoint. So certainly if Mountain Point wins out, they will be a top 8 seed, and they will get the bye in that first week on November 7. Desert Edge is pretty much guaranteed to be the 1 seed. There's a huge gap between 1 and 2. So the question just comes up, does Mountain Point get to 7? If you get to 7 and you avoid 8, then you're on the opposite side of the bracket as Desert Edge. We'll see. And if you can get in the opposite side of the bracket as Desert Edge, you got a chance to meet in Sun Devil Stadium. If you're in that 8 spot, then you're probably going to run into them in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, I still believe that we have yet to see the best of Mountain Point.
Well, he said they're healthy, so that's good.
Yeah, for sure. So I like what they got going on right now. The offense seems to be humming. So
they cranked up 52 last week against Gilbert, which was one of our games. We both picked Mountain Point, and I remember saying that Gilbert had given up 40 points for 4 weeks in a row, and so now it's 5 weeks in a row they've given up over 40 because Mountain Point put the 50 burger on them in that big win last week, and that followed up the impressive win the week before against Campo Verde.
Well, hey man, listen, I think that they're definitely going in the right direction. And like I said, I had projected that they would be 8-2. They will not get to 8 wins. They will not get to
not in the regular season. No.
Right. They will not get to 8 wins. But
I have them at 6-4, which they would get if they split those 2 games. So just throwing that out there.
yeah. And they thought that it was wildly disrespectful. However, we can both win if they sweep.
Yes, we would be right in the middle. That's yeah. we get spared in that aspect. Yes, that's correct.
I'm not saying that I'm cheering for them to win both and beat both teams, but I am saying
that was one of the earliest ones that we did. That was the first week that we did them. It was April 1st. No fooling was the day that we did that Mountain Point season prediction show.
I would still take them to be 8-2 today if I had it all to do over again. I would,
Yeah, and if they do run up against Desert Edge, the final the first time was 35-7. So I know it was really close for a half, but it was a 35-7 score. So
Gridiron doing his part to remind them
nothing at the half. So I'm glad that he wasn't doing any predictions. That was good. I was getting worried for a minute. Don't give the Scorpions any bulletin board material because they don't need it.
Not yet. No, for sure not. Which, by the way, FYI, just for those paying attention and keeping up, I did say that the Desert Edge Scorpions would win by an average margin of 21.5, and I believe that they are very, very close to that mark right now.
We will have to check though, because I know in the beginning part of the season they were playing a lot of close games, but now in the last 2 weeks they have won by a combined 102-14. So they've certainly stretched that number out.
Yeah, they are stepping on that gas pedal. All right, hey, we do got some games to break down. I'm super excited to discuss some of these games. The first one is going to be we're going to go inside the numbers on this. What I think is going to be an impactful matchup to the rankings and things like that. We are going to discuss. Is it up? No, it is not clearing. What is going on? I
It's
think I
currently
broke this thing.
24 is the margin of victory for Desert Edge. There's the
Oh,
math,
so we're good. So I'm good.
random,
I'm in the
random
clear.
numbers on that. So
I'm clear. So
manual
I'm clear.
math is currently 24.
Okay, I like it. I like it. All right, let's see if this thing was going to work. Okay, boom, we're up.
Boom,
Big game
there we
this
go.
week.
Yellow
This
pass
big
up.
game this week. At ALA Queen Creek, Mountain View at ALA Queen Creek, right? Yeah, I think we got that right.
That is a home game for ALA, correct?
Mountain View coached by the offensive genius of Coach Andy Litton. Look, he's a defensive guy too, but really, really known for
He's known for
his offensive
coming,
prowess, right?
coming up the ranks, yeah.
For sure. So shout out to Coach Litton, 7-on-7 wonder guy. Also made it to the Final Four of the First Flight Club, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Quarterback Brady Goodman, absolute stud. Running back Coy Bodley, super talented kid. Wide receiver Talon Arnett, one of my favorite wide receivers to watch. Wide receiver Zachary Galaviz, super talented kid that can go. Linebacker Preston Patterson. Defensive back Brody Anderson, some blue collar guys that are going to create problems for ALA Queen Creek. They have an X factor over there, a defensive back, Cash Skousen. I think that if he can keep Britton DeWitt and some of those receivers over there in check, I think that Mountain View is going to get this dub, this big dub. ALA Queen Creek trying to be this year's Centennial and make a run late. Quarterback Britton DeWitt, I'm so killing myself with these words. The Idaho commit, the Idaho Vandals commit.
University of Idaho.
University of Idaho.
Don't take him away from Andrew.
Oh, my goodness. I know. He would kill me. Running back, Bobby Nesbitt out there. Did a lot of impressive stuff in the offseason at camps and is really starting to turn things on right now. Wide receiver Khalil Bender. Let me not get this one wrong. The NAU commit who was on absolute fire last week on Thursday night. Offensive lineman Braden Chick, kind of the heart and soul of that offensive line over there. Athlete, two-way guy, Talon Scott, really turning things up. Tight end, wide receiver on offense, and linebacker, edge rusher type on defense. He walks up a little bit, and then Cordy Nunnery. This kid, an absolute nasty dude. Comes in off the edge through the gaps, creates a lot of problems, getting in the backfield. Can do a whole bunch of things. This is going to be an interesting matchup. Gridiron, I'll let you take it away. Go inside the numbers. ALA Queen Creek, coached by Rich Edwards, who is back. So, kind of back.
From the 6A, we got number 7 Mountain View 4-3. At number 18, ALA Queen Creek 2-5. That'll be Friday night, 7 p.m. in Queen Creek. That's at Chandler Heights and Hawes Road. Last week, Mountain View lost to Red Mountain, a game I was at, 23-22. ALA Queen Creek defeated Queen Creek 41-8. I believe you were out there at that one last Thursday. This is the first meeting between the teams. Mountain View, coached by Andy Litton. He's in his second year with Toros. They average 48 points per game in their 4 wins. But in their 3 losses, they have averaged 12 points per game. So it's kind of feast or famine with the Toros there. Quarterback Brady Goodman is a senior, 1,271 yards, 15 touchdown passes, 255 rush yards, and 7 TDs. He's a Utah State commit. Running back Coy Bodley is a junior, has 370 yards, 3 touchdowns. Wide receiver Talon Arnett is a senior, 37 catches, 526 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Plus, he has a kickoff return for a TD to give him 9. Then Zachary Galvez goes by Ziggy, they called him on the PA system last week. Ziggy had 8 catches for 106 yards last week and a touchdown. Goodman's first 6 completions all went to Galvez. And safety Cash Skousen on defense, he's a junior, has 4 interceptions. And linebacker Cannon Rayban is a 36 tackles and 4 sacks for him. Over on the ALA Queen Creek side, the head coach is Rich Edwards. It's his 2nd season consecutive with the Patriots, his 11th overall as the head coach at ALA. They started 0-5, and some people will tell you that they arguably had the toughest schedule. It's not arguable. Their schedule was Hamilton, Red Mountain, Chandler, Liberty, South Point. Those 5 teams currently have a 29-6 record. But they are 2-0 in their last 2. They outscored Desert Vista and Queen Creek 90-15. Quarterback Britton DeWitt is a senior, 1,520 yards, 13 TD passes. He's an Idaho commit. Running back Bobby Nesbitt is a senior, 596 yards, 4 touchdowns. Wide receiver Nash Proctor is a senior, has 28 catches for 390 yards and 4 touchdowns. Then you also have Khalil Bender, the wide receiver. He's a senior, 6 catches for 108 yards and 2 touchdowns last week in the win over QC. He is an NAU commit, as you mentioned. And then on defense, linebacker Rigdon Michael is a junior, has 27 tackles and 5 sacks.
Man, these two teams are going to make this is going to be a great game. This is going to be a fun game to watch. I think it's going to be high scoring. I think it's going to be one of those first to 40 wins.
That's good news for Mountain View, because when Mountain View scores a lot of points, they win.
Okay. And listen, I do like Mountain View a lot, and I think that they can win this game. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody tells me like, oh, hey, Mountain View just beat ALA Queen Creek. I wouldn't be surprised.
It's certainly not going to be a shocker either way when you hear the score, unless it's 41-8 either way.
Right. And
like last week, I was surprised not that ALA beat Queen Creek, but that it was 41-8. And one thing we didn't mention is they did it with 6 interceptions on defense last week against the Bulldogs.
I'm so impressed with what I saw out there versus Queen Creek. I think that ALA Queen Creek's playing some of their best ball right now. I did see them versus Chandler, and even without Khalil Bender, they were able to get loose a little bit.
Bender, of course, just became eligible. He's played either 2-0 with Bender. Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and take ALA Queen Creek in this because I have a feeling that you're going to go Mountain View, and I'm going to find out in a second here, just like everybody else, who you are going to pick and by how much. But go ahead and give me ALA Queen Creek. Britton DeWitt is playing some amazing ball right now. Khalil Bender's on fire in the 2 games that he's played, and then I think Talon Scott. He's going to make an impact both ways. Like I said, I think that Mountain View is loaded. This is going to be a great game. I'm going to take ALA Queen Creek, and I will take them. Give me ALA Queen Creek 40. I will take ALA Queen Creek 41-38.
Super high scoring there.
Yes. Lots of points running this thing up.
That's right. Both sides running that bill up.
Yes.
I was just looking because I wanted to see Bobby Nesbitt, their running back over at ALA Queen Creek. He's had 2 games this year where he's had 20 or more carries. His high game is 144 yards on 23 carries. It wouldn't surprise me to see him eclipse both those numbers this week because Red Mountain, they ran the ball last week. They got 161 yards out of their top rusher last week, Kai Jackson, in the win for them against Mountain View. And Red Mountain, what they were able to do, they got the ball back with 7 minutes to go on their own 2-yard line. And they were able to continuously move the chains, get first downs, and force Mountain View to use their last 2 timeouts. And by the time the Toros got the ball back after a punt, there were 48 seconds left and they were on their own 10-yard line. And so there wasn't time for them to come back and even try to get the field goal. So I like ALA Queen Creek also. I think they're going to run the ball. And like you said, they do have that look of last year's Centennial team. As we said, they're number 18. So it'd be interesting if they were to run out the table. This is their toughest opponent left. I guess there's a chance they could get to the top 12 because if they can get to 12, they're in that open play-in game, which means they might not do a Centennial and win the 6A. They might make it all the way to the Open, which is the only thing that they have ever known for the last 5 years. So I'm going to take ALA, not quite as high scoring as yours. I'm going to go 30-27.
Would that surprise you if ALA qualified for the Open for one of those top 12 spots?
If you told me that when they were 0-5, yes, it would have surprised me. But if you tell me that now after watching that was televised on CW7, the Fiesta Bowl game of the week, if you told me that after watching the game against Queen Creek and how dominant they looked overall in all the phases of the game, I wouldn't be as surprised.
Huh.
But
Okay.
this is their big test right here, because let's see, let's pull up the rest of the schedule, because I don't think there's
As
any
difficult.
I don't think there's any other teams on there that are going to
Red
have
Mountain.
the rank. That's right. They have Red Mountain also. They would have to beat Red Mountain. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
And Red Mountain, of course, is
Gridiron doesn't respect Red Mountain.
they moved it up to 5. So Red Mountain is 5. Where's ALA here? Let's see ALA. So those are their. No, they don't play Red Mountain. No.
They don't. I thought they played Red Mountain last
this,
week of the season.
This is a freedom game. This is not a region game for ALA. Mountain View and Red Mountain share a region. ALA does not. So ALA Queen Creek has this game against number 7 Mountain View, and then they finish with Corona del Sol and Castile. So those 2 games are not going to help them as much in the rankings.
Oh, dang.
Corona is 20 and Castile is 14. So it's not
Wait,
not like they're terrible teams, but it's not like they're top 8 teams like Mountain View is. So this is the win they really need to get a push to try to get close to that number 12 number.
I'm tripping. ALA Queen Creek already played Red Mountain early and lost by 3.
3 points. It was one of those five
that.
we mentioned. Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Part of the 29-6 record against them, because Red Mountain is 1, and really not a lot of people talking about the Mountain Lions. All season long, the talk has been Bashan, Hamilton, and Liberty, and Chandler and Red Mountain are just lurking there under the radar. With 6-1 records, and Chandler's going to get their shot at Hamilton, later this year and have their big chance. But Red Mountain's games left are Gilbert, Highland, and Queen Creek. So you'd expect Red Mountain to run the table there and go 9-1, and maybe Red Mountain will be a top 4 seed in the open playoffs.
That would be big. That would be big for Red Mountain, and congratulations, man, to Coach Andrews, Kyle Andrews over there. Fantastic coach. Absolutely love the product that he puts out there year in and year out. All right. Different order of business that we got to get to.
And we did not. I had to look to make sure, because I know neither one of us would have picked Red Mountain 9-1. Fortunately, we did not do a Red Mountain schedule at the beginning of the season. So. Because I'm sure they would have exceeded it by the time we hit the end.
Yeah, I probably would have.
Even with your generous predictions, I don't know. I would have given them 9-1.
No, I probably would have given them 8-2 though. I probably would have given them 8-2 because I knew Carmigiano would be coming in,
but they had the early season game against ALA Queen Creek. They had early season games against Sal Point and Brophy. Brophy is the one loss that they have this year. And Highland is on the come up. That's not a guaranteed win against Highland, because they've gotten some guys get healthy on the offense, and they put 3 wins together in a row now. Should be 4 when they beat Desert Ridge this week. So they should come into Red Mountain next week on a Thursday night, by the way.
I would have given them 8 wins,
with
7
a
minimum
win streak. So that should be a good one next week. Red Mountain and Highland.
I would have given them 7 minimum. But I probably would have given them 8 wins. I probably would have just projected 8 wins, which would have given me the Dubski on that one, because I would have, they would have gone 9-1 or whatever. So, 8-2 min. So it's all good. Okay. All right. Next order of business. We do got to talk about these guys. We do our spotlight weekly. We show love we pick out one of our commits and one of our senior commits and show love. So that means that Kale Snyder not eligible. Shout out to him though.
That's right. We'll hit him next year.
Boise State.
Next year, so we'll hit Kale Snyder.
So we'll definitely show love to Kale next year.
Boise State commit.
Quarterback commit. Yes, super talented kid. Can't wait. Me and just in case for all y'all hanging out. Me and Cam Cox had Kale on the show last night, dropping dimes, talking about his commitment and stuff like that. But what we are going to do is we are going to show some love to a committed kid I think has made a great decision. Super talented kid that I got to see move around a little bit last week. Dude, what is going on with this thing? I keep breaking this. I think my computer needs to be updated or something because I keep messing this thing up. But we are going to show love to, where is he at? Boom, right here. All right. Got to show some love inside the number spotlight segment. Going out to a kid that I saw last week. Take care of business. There it is. On Thursday night, Bear Fisher from Queen Creek, Utah commit. Gridiron, I'll let you go inside the numbers. Spotlight this kid, show some love, and take it away.
I would love to tell you how he took care of business last week, but Queen Creek has still not entered stats from that 41-8 game. It's not.
He did his part. He did his part.
I'm sure he did. We're going to talk about Bear Fisher from Queen Creek, 6'6", 240 tight end, Utah commit. There's the U right there in the bottom. This season has 21 catches, 238 yards, and a touchdown. It's his second year as a starter for the Bulldogs. Had 8 offers, including Arizona, BYU, North Carolina, and Washington State. Took his official visit to Utah in June and committed a week later. He has that frame for a college tight end, the length, the size. He's a weapon in both the passing game and as a blocker. Cousin of Tate Reynolds. And with him, they were both Fiesta Bowl first team All-State preseason selections when they did that little shindig and had the jackets about a week before the season started. Queen Creek 4-3. They look to get back on track this Friday at home against Desert Vista. It is their last home game of the season, so we would expect Bear to be honored as part of the senior night festivities there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be this week or next week or whatever week, but I do think that they will get Tate Reynolds back, and I think that's going to greatly impact what Bear Fisher does down the line.
They expect to have him back at some point. He was injured, of course. The quarterback, Clemson commit, was injured the first game of the season in Nevada, and so they've been working without him the whole way, and here they are at 4-3. They've had the sophomore quarterback playing
Sawyer Hales.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's done a great job competing first year on varsity, getting thrown into the mix. Sometimes I think what people don't understand is everybody wants to play, but the hard part is like getting thrown in when you're not sure, when you're not expecting it. Not like you kind of just expect to go in, play some mop-up duty, and get to process this thing slowly.
And
he's done a great job.
Has 13 touchdown passes in those 6 games that he's played so far this season.
Yeah, hey, I think that he's going to be a stud. I got to watch him play last year on the freshman level, and I thought he was a stud then. He's going to be a great varsity quarterback over there at Queen Creek for Coach Sherman. Bear Fisher, super talented kid. Love watching him work a little bit and move. And listen, it was a lot of blocking and kind of trying to make some things work, but tough physical kid that can get the job done. And the numbers from last year. These numbers I believe are posted from last year because I think it says that these are 25 stats, but they're actually 2024 stats. So
okay.
A little one. They had some dudes last year. They had another tight end, the one that went to UCLA. So they had some guys, and it's tough to get 2 tight ends that work. So Bear Fisher,
a lot of what Queen Creek has done is been through the run game.
For sure.
So blocks don't necessarily get put up as a stat. So
no, but this dude's absolutely mashing dudes, mashing defensive linemen. So. Mashing linebackers and guys trying to make the tackle and stuff.
And if you're at the next level as a linebacker, you don't want to see that 6'6", 240 guy come running at you.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. Look, Bear Fisher, not an absolute bear. We're just gonna say an absolute bear. So shout out to him and all that he's accomplished. And listen,
he's not done yet.
Nope. Hey, he's definitely not done yet because he's got to get us this dub. So
that's right. We got a streak to continue here. We are 7-2. We got 5 consecutive victories here. So we are looking to run that to 6. Queen Creek is number 17 right now. So there they go. So if they get to 16, they're in that part to host the one of those 13 through 20 6A first round games. So then that game this Friday might not be the last time that he plays the game on Queen Creek's new turf field.
True. Very, very true. Good observation. All right, your favorite part of the show. We're going to bring up the manual standings. I think your boy fell a little bit behind.
Yeah, we're getting close to the running clock here, I think.
Oh man, that's
last
brutal.
week we both had Mountain Point, as we mentioned, against Gilbert, and then Cactus Shadows with a big win. Donovan Dixon ended up being named the Cardinals Player of the Week after their victory over Notre Dame, and that you had Notre Dame, so that changes our number here. It is 14-4 for me. You would still sit at 500 at 9-9. So
well, I don't think we're gonna. I'm not sure how much ground I'm gonna be able to make this week. But
we have playoffs.
We've already picked it. We've already picked the same team.
We did agree on I don't think you expected me to agree on ALA Queen Creek.
No, I did not.
Having just seen Mountain View last week, but
yeah, I thought that you were gonna roll with Mountain View, but.
And Mountain View was really close. I mean, they had two instances in that game. One early in the fourth quarter where they got in the red zone and threw an interception that Red Mountain caught at the 2-yard line. So if just one of those turns into a field goal, then in the end of the game, Red Mountain's having to come down and try to score to take the lead instead of just burning clock.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes you try to follow the trends like myself, and we are both trending with ALA Queen Creek in that first game that we picked. All right. Second game of the night inside the numbers. Some people will be surprised. Listen, I know what everybody's thinking that we are going to pick for our second game to choose.
It'd be something.
Listen,
the big national game.
Yeah, it would. But I mean, the reality is that there's a ton of good games in the Valley. This one. A little
Mr.
bit
Beagle on the show tonight?
Yeah. And I'm gonna talk to him.
I'm assuming that's gonna be a topic once you get him on. Because that is not the logo.
Actually, we had Beetle on the Dropping Dime show yesterday, and we kind of broke down his opinion, his thoughts, his perspectives, his many perspectives that he's been able to have in that Chandler. In that Chandler Hamilton versus Basha game. So, we talked about that last night. So anybody wants to watch it, go check out the Dropping Dimes thing 12+ app. Your boy Chili, Cam Cox. We get to catch up with Beetlejuice. So, and I've already said it once. So once I say it two more times,
and I get bounced.
He's gonna show up magically. Look. This is a huge game. This is a big game right here. One thing I want to say is my guy, Coach Zadepski, who I absolutely love, coached at Hamilton for a long time. Having moved from Michigan, coached at Hamilton, and kind of brought them back, if you will. He's doing a great job at Shadow Ridge. Has them looking more competitive than I ever remember seeing them. So I want to give him love for that. Coach Zadepski's going to be hosting Higley. And Coach Zadepski, coach of Shadow Ridge, he's got some players. He's got some dogs over there that he wanted to make sure that I showed love to. Christian Armandin, the quarterback over there. Running back, he's got a pair of them, Mikey Cruz and Joel Cooper. This Mikey Cruz kid is supposed to be special. I know that my girl Sonia Blade.
I've seen Shadow Ridge this season.
What's up?
I've seen Shadow Ridge play this season.
My girl Sonia Blade said that Mikey Cruz is legit. Sonia Cruz, the producer of that Epic Sports Show. They got a wide receiver over there, Luke Pearson, that I know that some people like. An offensive lineman that leads the way, Hayden Overholtz, and a pair of guys on defense, a linebacker, Nate Pearson, and a defensive back, Daniel Lesan. I think it's Lesan. So this is a good group, man. Good, competitive, hard-playing group that people forget should be, Normandan doing a great job over there. But people forget. Guys like Pico, guys like Tyler Bernstein, they should be over there helping these guys. And if they were,
those two guys would be seniors.
If they were over there, I really, really believe that we'd be talking about Shadow. If they were there with Coach Zadepski, I really, really think that we'd be talking about Shadow Ridge possibly competing for one of those top 12 spots. He would have them going the right way because there's a lot of guys that left. So, I say that because I just want to give Zadepski his due on what he's done over there. coaching this crew up and making sure that he does right by the kids that stayed and turning them into products. So there's that. On the flip side, a team that I saw last week, Coach Eddie Zuby leads these
I've
Higley
seen Higley
Knights.
play this year too.
Sheesh. Quarterback Gunnar Fagrell, go ahead and have yourself a game. Last week was absolutely incredible. Anthony Palka, have yourself a game. That kid went off last week. The quarterback turned wide receiver, looking absolutely fantastic. Defense is a story over there with what they're doing. A ton of defensive backs with that Higley Penitentiary. Bryson Wilkinson, Nasim Eason, Justice Brathwaite, Dylan Hostelero, Brock Bascom, Dax White. They got a bunch of dudes over there that are absolute problems. Gridiron, I am super curious on what you think, because this Shadow Ridge team literally just took Williams Field to the end, to their very end limits. And I think that that's part of the reason that we are featuring this game on the Inside the Numbers segment of the show. Higley, Shadow Ridge, Gridiron, take it away. Go inside the numbers. Talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, that result from last week definitely surprised me, and I think Williams Field had to score late to win that game too.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I want to say that Shadow Ridge might have been ahead kind of during the fourth quarter. With 6A game, we got Higley number 9, 5-2. The Knights will be at Shadow Ridge, who is number 19. They are 3-4. The Stallions. That'll be Friday night, 7 p.m. in Surprise. That is on Perryville Road, just north of Peoria. Last week, Higley defeated Brophy 41-38 in overtime. Shadow Ridge lost to Williams Field 22-16. This is the first meeting between the teams. Higley head coach Eddie Zuby in his 16th season with the Knights. And as we mentioned, the team had 347 passing yards last week. Kind of their biggest offensive production night through the air, something we've been used to through the years from Higley. Quarterback Gunnar Fagrell is a senior, 1,266 yards, 12 touchdown passes. Also has 289 rush yards and a pair of TDs. Running back Antonio Young is a junior, has 359 yards and a touchdown. Wide receiver Landon Banks is a junior, 30 catches for 340 yards and 3 TDs. On defense, Ori Moody is a junior, defensive ends, 25 tackles and 5 sacks. Linebacker Dax White is a junior, 70 tackles, 3 sacks. So 4 out of the 5 guys I just mentioned there are juniors. There'd be a new quarterback next year, but a lot of guys coming back for the Knights. And I think that win over Brophy kind of solidified, that they do belong in the 6A. Because there were some people wondering from the first time they were in 6A when they got stuck in the Premier Region, and then they got sent down to 5A. They won a couple titles and made another championship appearance in there. To be back in the 6A and get a signature win last week. For Shadow Ridge, head coach Mike Zadebski in his 2nd season with the Stallions. They played 3 different quarterbacks last week in that game. The one that has played the most this season is Christian Normandin. He's a sophomore, 853 yards passing, 8 touchdowns, and he also has 3 rushing TDs. Running back Michael Cruz, who we mentioned, senior, has 962 yards and 12 touchdowns. That breaks down 10 rushing, 1 receiving, 1 kickoff return. So Cruz getting close to hitting the 1,000-yard mark. And when I saw Shadow Ridge against Brophy earlier this year, Cruz had 98 rushing yards and junior Joel Cooper had 103. So definitely that they'd like to use both those backs and sometimes shift them in the same series, in and out, and you never know which one's keeping the fresh legs in there. Wide receiver Luke Pearson is a sophomore, 11 catches, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns. On defense, safety Daniel Lasan, senior, 65 tackles, and linebacker Nate Pearson is a senior, 23 tackles. Last week, 17 of those solo.
Okay. All right. You know what, Gridiron? Surprise me. I'm gonna go ahead and let you pick this one first. I don't think you'll surprise me, but I'm gonna let you try.
Yeah, I think the Knights may have finally opened up the offense. If they were the team that was playing Shadow Ridge the week after I saw them, which was back against Mesa when it was a 13-10 game after 3 quarters, and then then Higley needed 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter to win that game 25-13. I'd be a little more worried about Higley and might have gone with Shadow Ridge. But I think they got the offense rolling right now. I'm going to take the Knights 31-16.
31-16. All right. I like Higley. I like what they're doing. I like what they got going on. Love this defense. Those defensive backs really know how to patrol, share responsibility, take receivers out of the game for the most part. I know everybody's going to point to Dalen Sharper going crazy.
Yeah, he did. Over 200 yards receiving last week.
But
I don't think Shadow Ridge has a passing game to do that.
But it is super tough to cover 2 guys like Devin and Dalen.
Yeah, that's a lot of D1 receivers over there.
You have to pick your poison, and they chose to shut down Devin Fitzgerald, not let him go crazy, and like he did versus Hamilton, and take their chances with Dalen Sharper. And Dalen Sharper did make them pay. But most important thing, Higley stayed competitive and got the dub. They got that W. So Gunnar Fagrell
they got the touchdown in overtime, right? Because Brophy had the ball first and kicked a field goal.
Yep.
So that was Higley's turn second in the overtime rules, and they got the walk-off touchdown.
Yeah,
because you provided us with a great video there of
thank you. I try my hardest.
Right after they hit the end zone. Yeah.
I try my hardest, man. Look, Gunnar was I want to say spectacular in that game. Like I thought he looked so good.
28 for 42 passing in that game, 347 with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions, and he also ran for 62 yards and 1 touchdown.
And look, Anthony Palka, I already brought it up. Quarterback turned receiver, super athletic kid. A little bit raw for receiver, but really made that thing work. Made that thing work.
He caught all 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. They have a healthy receiving room. God, I don't remember all the names. 82, 84. Coach Zuby's kid, Baby Zuby, Daniel Zuby.
Palka's probably the quarterback next year, right?
I don't know. I don't know if
he was the backup last year because he played in a couple games.
If I'm Palka, I probably stay at receiver with this success that
true.
He might start to brew here.
They need someone to throw the ball next year too.
Yeah, and they got some guys. They got some guys in there. They got some guys there, and that receiving room lines
over there.
That receiving room fully healthy. Like what's it called? Like I said, Baby Zuby over there can do some things. Keegan Peterson over there, who has a viral clip on Instagram. I don't know if you saw it, but
I'm not.
I know you're not Instagram heavy or savvy or present, but he does have a viral clip going on Instagram. They're running out the tunnel, and there's a kid looking for a high five from the Higley player.
Where he took him by the hand and that was really cool. Yes.
Yeah, and
it made it.
And it made it to Twitter. Okay, well, look,
that was where I saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, these kids, they all do amazing things.
He's a junior receiver, Peterson.
He is a junior receiver. So shout out to him, and I think he made a big catch down the stretch in that game also for Higley. So
those 28 completions that Fagrell had went to 8 different players. So I mean, they really spread the ball around. No player had more than 6, which was Palka. Usually a guy completes 28 passes. You expect, a dozen of them all went to one guy, kind of like over on Brophy's side, how Dalen Sharper had 13 catches.
Yeah, and look, Zdebski's like I've already said, Zdebski's done an amazing job over there at Shadow Ridge. I believe. Can they compete and win this game? Absolutely. I think that if those running backs get started early and can get into that second and third level and get to those DBs, wear them down a little bit. Give Normandin an opportunity to try to make some plays late in the game. I think Shadow Ridge can absolutely steal this one. I'm going Higley though. Okay. I am going to go Higley.
And then one thing I want to throw out there too: Shadow Ridge's last 2 games are against Mountain Ridge and Saguaro, both very winnable games, where they could finish 5-5 and make the 6A playoffs. Like we mentioned, they're number 19 right now. In the 6A playoffs, it's 13 through 20 in that first round. So they've got, regardless of what happens this week, they've got a very good chance of making those playoffs. And also Higley, with being number 9 right now, they've got a chance, to get themselves into the top 8 and get themselves a home game in that open play-in round, the 5 through 12. And of course, Higley made the open last year from the 5A.
Yeah. Hey, regarding quarterback for next year, I know that Adam just put this in a side chat. Adam Beetlejuice.
Okay. It's
Nice
2.
now.
I'm almost gone.
All right. So I know he put it in the side chat that Caden Schluter, the former
That's
Chandler
right. I saw
quarterback,
him during
is over there.
the Flight Club.
Yes, he quarterbacked.
He was
leading
leading the Higley Young Stars.
Yeah, the Rising Stars.
He's probably a sophomore then, right?
Young Stars is copyrighted. Let's not say that again because Young Stars has a copyright. So I don't want to. Don't want to get in trouble.
Would you call him? You didn't call him the Higley B team in the bracket.
No, Rising Stars.
Rising Stars. Sorry, I used the wrong stars. Yes, the Rising Stars. Yes.
Yeah.
I deliberately didn't say B team.
No, definitely not a B team because they won Monday. They won Monday, but
I watched them win against Chavez at the Flight Club.
But I do want to show Young Stars some love. Those guys over there, they run a sevens program.
I didn't mean to.
YNG Stars, and they are led by they have a great group over there. Some great kids led by Judah Lancaster, the super talented tight end, formerly at Tolleson, currently at IMG. So I want to show them some love. Young Stars is copyrighted though. So
okay, but before you bounce me out, I got to ask, in this Hamilton Basha game, can Basha slow down the Hamilton passing game, or is it going to be points galore, 45-42?
Look,
I'm asking to pick a winner. Just is it going to be super high scoring?
Look, I mean, Gridiron, we got to be fair. Like the reality is that Roy Oliver is absolutely special. The kid is a gift.
A candidate for the year. Mm-hmm.
He has to be.
I love that graphic there that Max Preps put out. 36 players with an offer. That's amazing.
Yeah, look.
And shout out to Max Preps for making this their national game of the week.
Yeah, how's that? Speaking of inside the numbers, how's that for a number? 36 players.
36, and that's covering different classes, sophomores and some freshmen and.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, it covers the whole.
No, for sure. Listen, so what's slowing down Roy Oliver, because he averages like a little bit under 3 touchdowns a game or something like that, or a little bit over.
Yeah, he's
3
closing in
a game. So
a record already. Yeah.
I mean, like. So what's slowing him down? Like if he only gets 2 touchdowns, I mean, if he gets 2 touchdowns and 200 yards receiving on Basha, I mean, that's just another day for him. Like that's not even him playing at 100%, right? Like that's him going like probably at like 75.
Or does Basha try to do what Shadow Ridge did to I mean, not what Shadow Ridge, what Higley did to Brophy, and completely try to shut down one receiver and make someone else try to beat them?
That would be one way. Listen, I think that
it doesn't mean that coming on next, that Hamilton wouldn't still find a way to win the game, but if you make someone else try to beat you,
Listen, I think that my guy that's coming on next, and I don't want to say his name again because otherwise he's just gonna pop up and shut you down. But I think he said something great on Twitter. This might be the only way to stop Roy Oliver. You just grab 5 cornerbacks to hold hands and form a ring around him, and then you got to be able to slow him down, right?
Well, you can slow him down, but then Tux Tanks are going to take command.
Yeah,
you only got 6 guys to stop the run game.
There's only one way to take Roy Oliver out this game, and I said it on Twitter already. Jacob
Brown is healthy, right?
And that's to get Coach Travis Dixon to substitute him out. You ask him very, very nicely, hey, can you bring Roy out of the game?
Save him for next week?
Hide his jersey or something. Like I don't know. I don't know that you can take Roy Oliver out of this game.
Tires in his driveway so he can't get to the game.
The kid, like I said, the kid is an absolute gift. I got to watch him versus Centennial. You can slow him down for a little bit, but he's gonna find his way. Like he's like that kid. He's like, it's like when you're babysitting and you want this kid to just stay in the crib, but he won't. He's gonna find his way out of that crib to the kitchen, to the game room, to wherever he's got to get to. For Roy, that's the end zone. And I just don't think that you can keep him out of it. You could build.
It's 23 touchdowns in 7 games. So
You could build a brick
averaging-
wall equivalent to the
if-
Great Wall.
if he-
You could build a brick wall equivalent to the Great Wall of China in front of that thing, and you will not slow Roy Oliver down and keep him out of that end zone. What he does is absolutely amazing in his craft to be able to get into that end zone. Gridiron, I don't think it's possible.
So we're looking at 45-42, right?
I think it's going to be a high scoring game. And listen, I love Trey Knox. I love
Mhm.
I love
And
I
those
love
are guys
Mason
that are doing
Lewis.
a lot of 3-year starters on that Basha defense.
But I don't know if Bash's defense, and shout out to Coach Jones, and I'm sure that they're going to come up with some concepts. But I think the only way to try to slow Roy Oliver down is probably to go one-on-one with him and have a defensive back travel with him. And the amazing thing about that is somebody brought that up. I think it was, I want to say, since this is public on Twitter, Jai Ewing said that, made a comment about he shut down Roy Oliver or something like that for whatever. And somebody else asked, how come you didn't cover him the whole game or travel with him? I think that is the only way to slow down, to stop Roy Oliver, is to assign one defensive back, one of these super talented defensive
almost
backs
like a
over there.
tie, I guess, huh?
Yeah, you got to assign
Basha-
somebody to go
Getting
one-on-one.
back to Basha's defense, Basha has had one game this season where they have allowed more than 14 points. And that was the Orange Lutheran game, who by the way had to forfeit their first 2 games of the season. I saw.
Hold on. I'm getting a message from the higher ups. Hey, all right.
Third one's coming, isn't it?
I don't mean to make you uncomfortable. I don't mean to make you uncomfortable, Gridiron, but this has officially been added to the Inside the Numbers Pick'em. So Basha, Hamilton, Gridiron, who do you got?
All right, we're gonna throw it in. I'm gonna take Basha. I'm gonna take Basha.
You're taking Basha.
45-42.
45-42.
I know I just said
Fireworks
that
on
about
Val Vista.
defense, how they've given up more than 14 one time, and it wasn't even to an Arizona team. But I think it's just going to be a shootout back and forth. It's going to be reminiscent of the old Hamilton Perry games.
Private side bet, Gridiron, between me and you.
But are you taking Hamilton? Because if you are, I'm adding it to the pick'em right now.
No. I guess it doesn't really need to be added. It's just added for number's sake. But add it up. I'm going to take Basha. But private side lunch bet between me and you, Gridiron, which I've already paid up on the NAU
yes,
bet.
You did.
I need to make it clear. I paid up on the NAU bet. I got the Falcos.
Lunch date. It was at the the Falcos. Yeah.
Another private lunch bet. Gridiron over under. We'll say the number is 2.5 touchdowns for Roy Oliver.
2.5 touchdown. Just so a touchdown prop for Roy Oliver.
Yes.
Well, if he gets 3,
what do you have Roy Oliver at?
If he gets 3, it's going to drop his average because he's averaging like 3.3 right now. So I'm going to go over 2.5 since I just said 45-42. So are you going to go under?
I am going to take the under.
Okay, there we go.
I am going to take the under.
Let's go, Roy. Let's go, Royo.
I'm gonna, since you took the over, I'm gonna take the under because for me, I still think if he has 2 touchdowns, that still makes him unstoppable. Listen, if he has 2 touchdowns, that
on what the rest, it depends on what you do in between the 20s also.
That means that Basha has allotted so many resources over to shut down Roy Oliver because you're not shutting him down, you're just containing the guy. Roy Oliver is literally unstoppable at this point. Statistically, by the law of averages, he should pop off for something healthy. 4 touchdowns, 273 yards receiving, 17 receptions. So yeah, give me the under on Roy Oliver because I think that's going to be 2 touchdowns for him and probably 170 yards receiving and a good day of work. And but I will take Basha and shout out to Roy Oliver and all everything that he's accomplished this season. It looks absolutely amazing.
It looks absolutely amazing. Is right.
It's absolutely like mind-boggling, especially coming off of some years where we've had Brandon Phelps and the amazing things that he did, climbing up the levels. Desmond Roebuck, what he did, and
Hamilton scored 49 points last week, and that was their season low.
Jeez, that's absolutely insane.
Was the season low.
All right, Gridiron. I'm sorry to do this to you.
Here comes the
Gotta
third
do it one
one.
more time.
Beetlejuice.
Hey. Oh, you said it.
Yo, man, there's a lot of brothers out there flaking and perking, scared to kick reality. Yo.
And just like that, here he is, Beetlejuice. Hey, man, I'm not going to give you this opportunity to discuss this massive game because we discussed this last night on Dropping Dimes. So anybody that wants to see that, the Dropping Dimes segment, our guy here, Adam, gets to break down all the different perspectives of which he's taken in the Hamilton Basha game. So it was an amazing piece. Shout out to him. And you can also see his prediction on the game, which might shock some, maybe not everybody, but some. Hey, Beetlejuice, talk to me, man. You have a topic tonight. We're trying to figure some things out as the season progresses. What is it that you'd like to discuss and share with everybody?
Well, I think after watching some of last week's games, we really see how things are gonna kind of come down to the wire when it comes to the open division playoffs and the play-ins. And I first, before we even really dive into it, I just want to know what are your thoughts on the whole play-in, the way it functions, the way teams can kind of come in and out, and a potential upset in the open. Do you think that this is going to work long term?
So me and Cam Cox got to talk to Dr. Dean, Jim Dean, yesterday on Dropping Dimes. And the truth is, Adam, is I don't love the current direction of the Open. I kind of get it. But unless this is being done to create an actual open division, an AKA 7A type of situation, I just don't love it. But hearing Dr. Dean and some of what he said, I'd rather everybody just listen to the segment on Dropping Dimes, but I will share some of it. He did say that this is being used somewhat, if I understood him correctly, this is being used somewhat to try to entice people to jump up into 6A because it creates so many playoff opportunities for 6A teams. Right now, there's only 29 teams in 6A. And what is it? It's 12 that qualify for the Open, 8 that qualify for the regular playoffs or something like that. Is that right?
So it'll be, I mean, just to start from top to bottom, the 4 automatic buys in the Open,
Right.
And then the Open qualifiers, which is then 5 through 12,
8.
and then the 4 teams that lose the Open qualifiers will drop into 6A. The top 4, they'll be the top 4 in 6A, and then there will be 12 more teams from 6A that will be, because it'll be a 16-team bracket.
So 16. So okay, so it's
only
actually,
5
so
teams
16,
from the 6A won't make
right. Okay, so 5. So right, so that's literally like almost like everybody in 6A gets an opportunity. The chances of making the playoffs are so highly likely, right?
Right.
Because like, in 5A and 4A, like you have like a bajillion teams and it's difficult to make it. So they're trying to say like, hey, listen, like Desert Edge, Desert Mountain, some of you guys that compete high level, jump in, guaranteed a playoff berth, this, that, the third. I get it. And I kind of like it. But what I don't like about that is time has proven that people don't want to step up and compete at the high level because they want to try to win a trophy at a lower level. Take that however you will. But that's what time has shown us, over the past few years. Because we've tried to deal with like teams making it up into the Open, and then everybody complains, oh man, they'd be better off competing in the 5A or the 4A because then they get a chance to win a trophy. what does that trophy become worth? Like, I mean, I get it. You become a state champion, and Cam Cox loves that stuff, and I love Cam Cox, so like it's cool. But what is that trophy worth when you're saying like, oh, I don't want to compete at the top. Let me just compete over here. You're already saying like you're competing lower. So I don't know if I love this or not, but I'm kind of going towards the direction, unless this is creating an open division like we had in, I believe, 2016. I don't love this. So long way of answering your question.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that this format allows for is it allows for just a lot of parity. I think there are so many different things that could happen in a short amount of time. And actually, I feel like we probably haven't, but I feel like the rankings came out later this year than they usually do, and I'm all for it because I think it just allows for some of this more dialogue to talk about how some of these things might shape up. So, for starters, obviously that ALA Queen Creek game last week. I think I can't even recall the amount of times I was just saying wow to myself on the sideline, just watching this game and seeing what ALA Queen Creek was able to do based off the kind of start they had to the season. And then you kind of go into the Queen Creek game. Obviously, you go into Desert Vista, and, after watching Castile Desert Vista last week and then watching ALA Queen Creek, that performance that ALA Queen Creek put on, I think is justified. But I still think going into the Queen Creek game, you got to question, what really is this offense without Max Hall behind it? And what we saw against Queen Creek was just the Patriots just doing what they normally do, is go out there and put on a show. I think this was probably, and Coach Edwards will kind of attest, definitely for sure, their best performance as a team, as a group all season long. One of the things he talked about after the game was, we wanted to kind of we as an ALA Queen Creek wanted to use the first 5 games to really sort of motivate our guys, to build up our guys. There's a lot of young talent, especially on the defense, guys that are inexperienced, guys that haven't had a lot of playing time on the varsity level. So being able to go into those first 5 games and really just use it as a learning experience and an opportunity for those players to condition themselves and strengthen themselves to get ready for this second stretch of the season. Well, now we're in a second stretch of the season where ALA Queen Creek has found themselves their last 2 in a row, and a very realistic opportunity where the Patriots could win out. And if the Patriots, I think ALA Queen Creek has a very high possibility of sneaking into one of those open play-in games. Now, a couple of things have to happen, right? I think you got to look at Salpointe and Catholic. Salpointe Catholic and Perry are right there neck and neck with each other at 11 and 12. Those 2 teams will play each other in 2 weeks. Perry is going to have a big test against Mesa. Mason is another team that's in the hunt. I think where I'm going with this is we're in a unique scenario right now where there are so many teams that are quote unquote in the hunt for, this open playing spot. You got a team in Mesa who obviously had some midseason additions to their roster that have really changed them into a different team. You got a Highland team that's on the cusp. Right. I have to say, I don't think they're going to be one of those teams that's going to sneak into the open play-in. You have a Castile team, which quite frankly, they're only 2 spots outside of Perry, and they put on a great performance last week. T. Smith Jr. had 8 touchdowns, but the end of their schedule is tough. And one of the teams they have to go through is ALA Queen Creek.
Okay.
I think ALA Queen Creek is in a position right now. They were at 23 last week. They win against Queen Creek. That boosts them up 5 spots up to 18. There is plenty of room, I believe, for ALA Queen Creek to climb up these rankings into an open playing spot, but it all comes down to whether or not they can get the dub this weekend against Mountain View. And a lot of that is going to come down to, can this defense really prove the test against a really talented quarterback and a really talented passing game between Brady Goodman and Talon Arnett?
I gotta ask. Listen, I didn't know that this conversation was really going to go this way, but I gotta ask you, just based on what you saw last week, and you've seen a lot of teams. Also, you've seen a lot of teams at practice. You've seen a lot of teams competing on Friday nights or Thursday nights or whatever. If it was up to you to make the rankings 1 through 29 or whatever, where would you actually put ALA Queen Creek? Where would you realistically go? Like, what do you realistically
Now,
think that
do
that
I
they
have
belong?
to base that off of the 5 losses that they've already had this season? Like, are we
No,
factoring
no,
in,
no. You are just
or is this like
basing
a
this off of
power
what
rating?
you think. This is just based off of what you think. What Beetlejuice thinks. These are the Beetlejuice rankings. You don't have to give me 1 through 29. I'm just asking you for one number for one team. What number would you put next to ALA Queen Creek? Realistically.
See, this is interesting because I think I'm trying to envision, like, I'm looking at the rankings that the AIA came out with, and there's
For
a couple
sure.
teams that are lower in the rankings that I would put higher. Like Centennial, I don't think is number 13. I think Centennial is still the number 5 team in the state, right? Which
Okay.
is where Red Mountain is in these rankings. So I think just based on a number projection,
Yeah.
I would say that ALA Queen Creek is a top 12 team. I would probably put
Okay.
them at number 12.
At number 12. Okay. Okay. Interesting. I don't disagree with you so much. I think I have them a little bit higher actually. But I don't disagree with you so much. Listen, I mean, this is a weird situation because one, this was really not the intended subject matter of our discussion tonight, but me and Gridiron both just picked the ALA Mountain View game earlier on the show during the Inside the Number segment. Both of us picked ALA Queen Creek to win the game. Like, it's one of those things. Like, but Mountain View is ranked number 7. So based on that, like, with the number next to ALA Queen Creek, do we think? Does that mean? And I'm not going to speak for Gridiron, but does that mean that Chili thinks that ALA Queen Creek is actually like the number 6-ish team in the state, or actually the number 7, and Mountain View so much farther below? Mountain View, I think, is super talented. That's why I was just asking, like, where do you actually think that this ALA Queen Creek team belongs in the pecking order? And you think they're top 12. I think that they're top 10. Disappointed by that 0-5 start, but now getting to the actual subject matter, could they be this year's Centennial? Does it ruin their opportunity if they do find themselves in that top 12 and aren't able to chase an actual trophy in Sun Devil Stadium? What do they need to qualify to be, quote unquote, this year's Centennial?
Listen, I think that let's say they do end up at that number 12 spot, you're going to have to face a really good team, likely probably a Red Mountain or a Brophy, or maybe a Mountain View again. To elaborate, my pick this weekend would be Mountain View over ALA Queen Creek, only because I think an Andy Litton team is going to be super hungry going into a game like this, especially coming off a rivalry loss. And we know that Andy Litton is just going to use that all week as fuel to get his team going. So I would pick Mountain View in this game, which would still, in my opinion, put ALA Queen Creek as a top 12 team. You got to consider strength of schedule, all that, yada, yada, yada. They would have to match up against a team probably like Red Mountain or Brophy, that I don't think ALA Queen Creek would get past the open play-in, which then would drop them back into 6A. And I immediately think if that's the case, looking at some of the other teams, just how they function and how ALA Queen Creek in reality has, especially on the offensive side of the ball, some more fresh bodies than most of these teams who have been playing very physical all season. I think ALA Queen Creek does kind of sneak in as that underdog, even though they would still technically be a top seed. I think a little bit of a difference between Centennial last season and ALA Queen Creek this year is Centennial was, if I remember, a 13 or 14 seed. ALA Queen Creek is still probably going to be a top 5 seed in the 6A conference, and they're still going to have the opportunity to kind of run the table. But in the discussion of can they be the team that didn't exactly have the start of the year they wanted to, but then sneaks up kind of like, Saguaro did in 2023 under Zach Hill. I think that they absolutely can be that team.
Gosh, we've had a bunch of those stories lately. Coach Hill did an amazing job in getting that championship.
Man, that offense was unreal.
Yeah, no, they look solid, and Hill did an amazing job. Also did an amazing job helping to recruit Cale Snyder. So shout out to Coach Hill for his work over there. But yeah, man, listen, ALA Queen Creek, they had a heartbreaker versus Red Mountain early, lost by 3. Red Mountain just beat Mountain View, dealt them a heartbreaker 1-1. And so, I'm curious to see like hip bone connected to the leg bone type thing. And does that mean that ALA Queen Creek with Bender added, like, would they beat? We're going to find out if they're going to beat Mountain View, and we'll find out.
For sure.
If they get that matchup again versus Red Mountain. We know Red Mountain got their quarterback Dom Carmigiano,
And that's a big part of it.
That is a big part of it, but is that a bigger part than Khalil Bender going both ways?
That's the key. That's the big question.
Player of the game, Fiestable player of the game, game changer over there. So, the $1 million question. So, besides ALA Queen Creek, is there anybody else that you think is up for this year's Centennial, this year's Saguaro, possibly make a run to a championship, turn things around, program changing type season?
I mean, I got to throw out the team I think everybody started talking about all of a sudden, and probably two teams, but one of them is the Mesa Jack Rabbits. I think you just got to look at the talent pool that they kind of have climb in, and I think this Perry game is going to be very exciting to see what these two teams do up against each other. I think this is going to be a good test for Perry before they face Bash at the end of the year. And this is going to be kind of a prove it game for Mesa, prove that these guys that have on their roster can lead you to where you want to be at the end of the season. So I think from that perspective, it's going to be fun. But also, like I mentioned earlier, I think that Castile absolutely could be a team that surprises a lot of people at the end of the year. And I say that because you look at sort of the track record of Castile, and maybe they haven't been the top of the top, every single year. They're not, always the big open division favorite or the big, 6A favorite, but they are always going to bring out teams that are competitive and teams that will still bring it down to the wire. And I think we've got to give Joe Bushman a little bit of credit for what he's done in his first year, having to manage this team the way he's had to manage with injuries. And, now he's got a quarterback that shook the rust off and just, we really saw him explode last week. They get a healthy Riley Hunt finally involved in the game plan. They're going to get Bryce Greer back this week. I think there's just a lot on the horizon for this Castile team. And I'm really interested to kind of see how they end this season and using sort of the momentum from the end of this year, not only in the years to come, but sort of as a trajectory of how far can this team really go? How far can Joe Bushman really take this team in his first year?
Hey, I always got to do the correction stuff. My guy, Gridiron Arizona, put in the side chat that 20 of 29 6A teams qualified.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we said 24 of 29. I said 20 originally, and then you corrected me, said 24. So your boy Chili, show. I'm always right.
I got a lot of numbers to keep track of.
No, you do. You definitely do. Listen, I'm glad that you shared the stuff about Castile because, I haven't been out there yet, but I do know what they got going on. I love what Bushman is doing with the program. I do want to check out that freshman team over there. Beetle, we are going to be going to a freshman game.
We are. I will for sure be there. I will for sure be at that game.
Because Beetle shook to cover freshman football since we stopped doing the freshman 15 a couple years ago. But we might make a special freshman 15 show this after the game this week, possibly. I'm debating. But what are you expecting real quick this weekend over there on Val Vista? I said we were going to talk about it. I lied. We are going to talk about it a little bit. What are you?
What if I just said you have to go watch my drop and dime segment?
No, because I'd like you to go a little bit more in depth. Talk about a few of these players. What are you expecting to see from some of these guys? What type of performances? Who's going to break out? Is there going to be a name that we haven't really discussed so much that you're like, oh, this guy is definitely gonna do something special?
I really like Gridiron's take about how this could possibly just kind of be a shootout game, a 45-42 sort of thing. I absolutely see a world where that's a possibility. And then I absolutely see a world where we kind of have a game, like last week between Red Mountain and Mountain View, where both teams just kind of found ways to shut down certain parts of each other's games. And like I know last week, Mountain View couldn't really get the ball running at all, right? And meanwhile, on the other side, we've got a running back on Red Mountain that's gone for 160 yards on 28 carries, right? Yeah. So I think the benefit to Hamilton, the benefit to both of these teams really, is that if the passing game's not working, if Basha finds a way to shut down Roy Oliver, which I think, I think almost every single corner is going to get their opportunity to match up one-on-one against Roy Oliver, which is going to be the most exciting part, is seeing a guy like Mason Lewis on Roy Oliver, seeing a guy like Trey Knox on Roy Oliver, seeing a guy like Caden Smith on Roy Oliver, right? Caden Williams as well. I think the different matchups we're going to see are going to be a lot of fun. But the point of that is, if Basha finds a way to shut down Roy Oliver, well, guess what? Hamilton's got two running backs in Jacob Brown and Skylar Cole, who can absolutely just run the ball straight in your face downfield and get a bunch of yards doing that. If, let's say, for example, Hamilton's defense comes out stout and Basha can't find, if Brody Veers can't find a way to get the ball to Cash Brock, can't find the way to get the ball to Jaden Baldwin, and they decide to go for a run, Noah Roberts and Joshua Gaines punch them in the mouth, and they do that. But Hamilton could also find a way to, stop the run, stop Joshua Gaines, stop Noah Roberts. But that's where I think might be the biggest thing. I don't see a world. I think Basha is going to need to use their run game to an advantage in this game. I think that just what they have up front, and also in the backfield is kind of will counter what Hamilton has in their front seven. And looking at, I think it's just all about how much can Basha take an advantage, right? Hamilton has had a couple of times this season where they've started out slow. I know that they, first quarter was a little slow, and then they kicked it on against Brophy. First quarter against Centennial was a little slow, and then they kicked it on against the Coyotes. So I think for the Huskies, the key is finding out what works early and trying to, punch them in the mouth right away, trying to make those big plays to put some points up in the point. Oh my goodness, I cannot talk. Put some points up on the scoreboard in the first quarter early, which is not something that Basha has allowed teams to do really at all this season, except for Williams Field. So that's where I really see it. And that's what I said last night. I think whichever team can get out and strike first and play hard early is the team that's going to end up coming away with the win. Granted, that has not always been the case in the past. We've seen Hamilton Basha games where Hamilton has absolutely had the upper hand, and then allow Basha to score 17 points in the fourth quarter and come back and win the game. So I think another story about this, and now I've just gone onto so many different loopholes the way this game can go, because I really do think this is just going to be a great football game and so exciting. I think so many different things can happen because both of these teams are so talented, and look at that, 36 Division I players between the two teams. This is practically going to be almost like a college football game, and I know the stadium pulse at Basha is going to be legit. I know that place is going to be rocking. So now I lost my point. Now I lost what I was talking about.
All right. But,
that was just went off the tangent.
No, okay, Beetle. When you remember it, let's get back to it. But I do want to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you the same question on both sides, but I want you to throw out a name and a number of what they got to do. I'll go first, and then I'll let you go. Okay.
Okay.
All right. For Hamilton to win this game on defense, I think Rayner is the key. I need to see him get in that backfield, be disruptive, get to Veers, get to these running backs before they can hit the line of scrimmage and slow them down a little bit. I think that he's got to have an absurd type of game where we're talking about maybe 15 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, maybe a sack or 2. That's what I think I need to see from somebody on Hamilton's defense in order for them to win this game. Go ahead. Hamilton's defense, who needs to do something, and what do they need to do?
Hamilton's defense specifically, or you're asking for my stat?
Hamilton's defense specifically. What's one player, and what kind of stat line do you need to see from them?
I think there will be news that'll come out a little bit later, probably tomorrow. Basha is going to be without one of their key starting offensive linemen, and I think Hamilton's got a guy in Derek LeBlanc who can basically play any position on the defensive line. And so I think targeting what could potentially be a weakness in Basha's O-line will be huge for Hamilton. I think Derek LeBlanc needs to have at least 2 sacks and 2 TFLs in this one.
Nice. Okay. I like that. Going to Hamilton's offense, I think in order for Hamilton to win, I'm not concerned about what Roy's going to do because we know what he's going to do. I think somebody like Jacob Brown has to get the volume carries and probably get over 120 yards rushing, which means that they are controlling the clock and the game. And definitely he needs to get in the end zone for a touchdown. Jacob Brown has to have a special performance.
I'm going to go. I think Roy Oliver's got to have 3 touchdowns.
Ooh.
I think he's got to break that record.
Oh, man, which you clearly think is most likely going to happen. Going to Basha's defense, I think Trey Knox. I think he's got to block a punt or a field goal or something like that and change the tone of the game. Just like he's done in the first part of the season. He's got to get back to doing those type of things and contributing on the defense. Something simple, 3 tackles, maybe come up with an interception. But I think that block kick or punt is imperative for Basha to win this game.
I like that, and I will take that. And adding on to that, I think there's one position that has been kind of the difference maker in this game for Basha over the last couple of years, and that's the linebacker position. I look back to a couple of years ago, Jack Blyer and the performance he was having up until he got injured in that game against Hamilton, which if you look back at it was kind of, Jack Blyer going down kind of opened up the game for Hamilton to be able to, even as it was, granted Basha started to come back and tied it and Damon Williams won it, in double overtime. But I think Eli Kramer Cronin is going to have to go out there and have just not a final performance, because obviously this isn't going to be his last game. But I think Eli Kramer Cronin going out there and just being Eli Kramer Cronin and doing what he does. I still laugh at the interview I did with him right before the season started, where, he admitted to me that he feels like there still is a bit to prove. And he said, if you're in my way, I'm going to punch you and run you over and you're not going to like it. And so I think he's really going to have to bring that mentality to this game on Friday.
Offensively for Basha, I think Noah Roberts has to go off. The picture boy right here. I think that he's got to do something insane. I think he's got to set the tone. I think Josh Gaines has exhibited and shown what he's capable of doing, and we all know. And I think Hamilton is going to be well prepared for that. I expect Josh to do what Josh has been doing. I expect the train to do what the train's been doing. But it's Noah Roberts who, arguably, I guess, people would say a little bit light on the season, a little bit under 300 yards rushing or whatever. But I think that he's got to peel off and show what he can do for some of the best talent that he's going to see outside of the Olu game. And I think that he's got to have something north of 150 and 2 touchdowns and really show that eye-popping speed that he has. So I'm going to take Noah Roberts to go crazy.
You and I are in the same exact brain. I was literally going to say Noah Roberts 152 touchdowns. I think he's got to have his best game of the year. And I think if he does, then it's going to be no problem for Bash to win this game.
Okay. And all that said, we picked out 4 players on the different sides of the ball. Everybody else still has to do their job. We still need to see Brody Beers to get those completions and do his thing. We need to see Jaden Baldwin, Cash Brock get loose. We need to see Jack Scully continue to be Jack Scully. If all those things are equal, like those are just some guys that we need to see some special performances from. This game is going to be absolutely insane, and there is going to be somewhat of a who's who out there. Obviously Poff is coming from Max Preps. I know that coaches from USC and a couple other Power 4 schools are going to be out there because people are hitting me up already saying, Chili, where can we get some food at? So, I'm super excited for all that's going to be out there. And we know Beetlejuice is going to be out there. So, it's going to be absolutely insane. Probably going to have to get some food too. Are we hitting Los Favs? Is that going to be the spot?
Well, there's a Papa Chavos over there.
Oh, is there?
On a Queen Creek and Alma School.
Oh, okay. Might have to hit that up. Not hitting up any Mexican food before the game because I want to be able to make it fully through the game because I never know who to trust.
You and Gridiron were talking about the Falcos, and immediately I went, oh.
Hey, we love the Falcos. This show absolutely loves the Falcos, but me and Beetle made the mistake of ordering sub sandwiches and a full-on calzone. So, no weirdo, but we split the whole thing, and it took me like 3 days to eat. So, so there's that. But I just want, hey, listen, the show loves the Falcons. This show loves the Falcons. So there's that. But yeah, we will definitely be grabbing some food post game somewhere. And then I'll do the ride home from Basha, and we'll probably break down everything that we saw and talk about some other games that took place. Are you going to make it out to Cactus Shadow Chaparral?
I am. I'll be
Also?
there on Thursday. Yeah. I'm
Watch-
going to see you
watch,
3 days in a row.
Super exciting. We'll have to get food all 3 days. We'll make
Let's
that
do
thing
it.
work. All right. All right. For the last time, before he got to go, Beetlejuice.
Let's get it.
This is a record show. Holy smokes. An hour and 40 minutes we've gone. Your boy Chili, just trying to talk some high school ball, trying to make it through. Shout out to my guy, Beetlejuice, and shout out to Gridiron for always helping to hold down the show and make sure that thing works. Shout out to my guy Jalen Coulter, Jay Bird, in case y'all not familiar, for jumping on and chopping it up, talking some Mountain Point football, and all the good things that are going on over there. Your boy Chili, I'm gonna make my way out of here. I want to show some love to BJ Media, ALL.net, Recruit ID, Burrito Express, all those guys taking care of their boy all the time. 2-piece going every Tuesday. This is season 8, according to Gridiron, season 8, and I'm pretty sure it's like 52 shows a season. So like we're like close to like, we're like close to or over our 400th episode. I'll let Gridiron do the math on that and bring us back to it next week. But your boy Chili, I'm out of here. I'm gonna probably try to fly in and make it to ASU practice tomorrow, and definitely make it to the Basha Hamilton freshman game, which should be absolutely epic. I'm expecting big things from both sides, so y'all don't let me down. Just play hard. Really, that's what it is. And then other than that, man, it's going to be a hell of a game on Friday, and I can't wait. Everybody, listen, we got Roy Oliver Day in a couple days, so Basha, y'all get 3 nights of sleep until we make that thing work. Other than that, Forks Up Forever, at Just Chili, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Just Chili TV, YouTube, TikTok. Holler at your boy. Y'all know the deal.